Hello, everybody. Lovely to see you all here. I'm trying not to walk around too much. A, it's flippin' hot. And secondly, I think it distorts the sound as well a bit with all the fans being on. So I'm trying to stand still, which is normally a hard thing for me. But can everybody hear me in the back? Okay, I don't mind yelling a bit louder. So this is the first for everybody here today at this place with the crowd, and in the new year, this is the first address and the first messages I'm giving this year as well. So welcome, you are my first. Which I think is wonderful because there is nothing wrong, and actually is something we all need to welcome is new energies. And things and energies that we purposely choose, and those that we purposely create with full intent. Because especially after the last 1.5, 2 years, where lots of things were chosen for us and we were in reaction mode to a lot of things, it's time we choose again, we create again, we manifest again. So this is the wonderful synchronicity again, because I promise we haven't met before today, and we actually prepped similar things. So that's the beauty of synchronicity. Also, tomorrow being Valentine's Day, now I'm not going to get all mushy on you, but Valentine's Day has quite some sinister kind of roots as such, with chopped off heads, and it's a multi-billion-dollar kind of industry by now. But what I do like about it is it celebrates love in some weird and wonderful ways, but I think we need to come back to love, because this is all what's actually being quite a bit suppressed. So there's only two energies and two major feelings and emotions in life, and that's love and that's fear. We do know what was terrorizing us the last 2 years. I think that's pretty obvious. So we are very clear what we don't want. So having a day set aside, not just for romantic love, but for love in general. For love of self, for love of others, not just in a romantic or in a commercialized way, which is another story, but love. We need to concentrate back on love, because that is manifesting energy. We cannot manifest from a place of fear, because then we're in avoidance mode, we're in a resistance mode. So that's being a place and a space and a time of news and beginning and intent, and we all want to feel peace. We cannot feel peace in a fear state. And we live in the wrong time frame and be in fear state. What I mean with that is we cannot feel fear and be in the here and now. Fear lives in the future. What if this? What if that? What if that's going to happen? What if I get sick? What if they don't lift those restrictions? What if, what if, what if? And what if lives in the future. It's not in the here and the now. We never had as many anxiety attacks, depressions, this, that, and the next thing, because we weren't in the here and the now, plus fundamental decisions were taken. Our absolute fundamental need of connection, which is one of the main points of love, is about connection. Isolation is fear. And what did they do? Isolate. And then we over-isolated on top of it all. Initially, everybody got locked up for 6 weeks and was up in arms. 1.5 years later, we have to pull them out by the nostrils because they don't want to come out anymore. Because now we're used to it. Now it's our comfort zone. Comfort zone does not mean it's good for us. Comfort zone means everything that we've repeated long enough, our brain says, I know how this works. It's predictable. Yes, misery can be predictable. Sad can be predictable. Depression can be predictable. But does it come from love? And was that good for us? It isn't. Because some people then defend it and go like, but I'm comfortable at home. So why aren't you happy? If you're comfortable and then you're happy, fine. But if you're not happy, the formula is wrong and you're operating from the wrong energy. And we've learned to dress it up, to have stories around it and put little bows on it and give it different names. But my garden looks pretty. Yeah, your garden is still pretty when you go out for 2 hours and come back. So we find stories around it Because now, what used to be our life is now the unknown. So we need to switch to love. So it's not about the little cupids and the little flowers and all of those. They're nice little add-ons. But where we most of all need to bring love back in right now, right here, is with us. Love is an inside-out shop, not an outside-in shop. It's like the champagne glasses they put at weddings. You've got to fill from the top to make sure that every glass gets filled. If you start from the middle, don't get surprised if the top ones will never come near a drop of champagne. And you really shouldn't deprive anybody of champagne. It doesn't work. All you need to do is, and it does not mean everything we do is wrong. All we need to do is lift our arm a little bit. It does not mean we need to reinvent who we are and everything I've done so far is fundamentally wrong. No, it ain't. We just need to look if the formula still fits. And let's face it, 80% of the time it doesn't. We're exhausted, we are tired, we are frustrated, our nerves are much thinner than before, and we all, as you said, want something, need something, but we don't know what. We're afraid to make decisions. Because what if? What if not? So the brain set us now to, and of course I'm generalizing, things are more prone to go wrong before they go right. Neutral doesn't even exist anymore. We can't even aim for neutral, because it either burns and we sleep under a bridge, or nothing. This is all fear-based. We need to consciously choose love. And self-love. That inner self-talk. Whoa. We all do it. To different extremes, but we do it. And no, we would not talk to our family members like that. Or friends. We would never. And we would correct anybody else around us when we hear them speaking to others like that. Yet it's completely acceptable for us to do that. And we're not even aware of it half the time. So all this like not good enough, not this enough, not thin enough, not tall enough, not fat enough, not this enough, not clever enough, not this successful enough, whatever not enough we're telling us ourselves. What about replacing it with, this is how far I've come. This is how much I've survived. This is what I'm still here. You all survived. You all did something right. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. But we're not looking at that. In any way or form. We're always looking at what we're not. And we beat ourselves up. That's not love. How many of us are actually going like, I've done darn well. I lived through a frickin' pandemic and some riots thrown in for good measure. That was before I couldn't see my family members and everybody was stuck in different countries, this, that, and the next thing. And here I sit beating myself up that I put on 5 kgs during lockdown. Really? Really? This is our biggest problem right now because we have to find something to beat ourselves up over to match the energy that's there. Because now we're matching outside energy instead of setting our energy to infiltrate it the other way around. We've got to become our own force fields again. Those of love. There's no use beating what we don't want, but we can sure flush it out with what we do want. We've got to switch that. And I want you to be your biggest love story. So whoever is your Valentine tomorrow, it's going to be number 2 because you're number 1. And it's quite frankly the easiest and best way to actually guarantee the number 2. Sorry, honey, just got degraded. Because when I'm full of love and full of good things and full of... Oh, shame, it's already been felt sorry for. So, automatically, this is what's going to flow out. If I'm not in my best place, if I am all cranky, this, that, and the next thing, he ain't going to be the happiest chap either, believe me. And as much as I'm trying to, and if I'm not vibrating at my best, this is what I bring to everybody around me, no matter who it is. If it's my partner, if it's my kids, if it's my neighbor, it doesn't matter. What we vibrate at is what we bring to others. And the soul, like, no, I'm fine. You might say that, but your energy is what actually is infiltrating. We know when people say, no, I'm good, and the energy goes like, and what? But stop asking or I'm going to break down and cry. We've got to be honest with ourselves and allow ourselves to be. self-love. It's not about love the world. I actually want to say for a few seconds, excuse my language, bugger the world. Because if we can't love ourselves, and there's like billions of us out there, which infiltrates out in the world is in reaction to us. Look at what the world does. It's in reaction to where the multitude or the majority of people is at. And if we dissect ourselves, we will dissect the world around us. That is actually the law of energy. That's science. So we need to start loving ourselves. We need to be aware. It's awareness. Be more aware of what's around us. Because this is part of fight and flight as well that we've been taught the last 2 years more than ever. I have to watch the outside that I can react, that I'm safe. And we need to purposely switch that back. I want you to invest yourself like you would invest in a 5-year-old toddler. Because guess what? This is this inner child that we've been depriving for years. When a 5-year-old does something wrong, you go like, how stupid are you? No, you wouldn't. You would lovingly still say what you need to say, but you would guide the child through it. You would encourage the child through it. You would tell the child it's okay to be, it's okay to make mistakes, and you would help them learn. Why can't we do that with us? Love is an inside-out job. At the moment, we're reacting to the outside, which is fear. So I need you to be your biggest love story. Actually, I need you to be incredibly full of yourself. Because what is in comes out. So this whole is selfish? No. It's selfish not to. It's selfish not to. It's kind of like going to the petrol station, filling up everybody's car. By the time it comes to you, there's like, there's no more petrol. Who's winning? Nobody. It's saying like filling petrol into my car is selfish. We don't even question that. Of course our car needs petrol. Otherwise we can't get that. Just like we need love, we need compassion, we need acceptance. This whole not worthy needs to be out the window. We've got to stop that nonsense. We've got to stop trying to beat what we don't want and fully concentrate on what we do want. We want to feel worthy, we want to feel loved, we want to feel acknowledged. Are we doing that with ourselves? Are we? How many of us have chest issues, and I'm not talking Rona, have chest issues, who just constantly like kind of thing, because we're not speaking our truth. We're not saying no, we're not saying it's enough. I'm not saying like, this is how I need to be treated right now. This is how I'm feeling right now. Because we're more worried what the outside world thinks about us than what we think about ourselves. That's still outside based. We've got to be kinder to ourselves. Be your biggest love story and start trusting yourself. That inner voice needs to be reined in and retrained. We trained the first version. We need to train the second version. It's completely possible to be that. And we need to give ourselves permission to just be. So, with this whole love thing, we all want it. Let's be it. It's the easiest way to flood everything in ourselves with it. Because the world is in reaction to who we are. If we come from a place of love, not just for others, but ourselves. Otherwise, it's not maintainable. The world has no other way than reacting to us like that. That includes cutting off loose ends. I left when I looked around, there's a huge axe there. I'm like, darn synchronicity. So it's like, cut things that are toxic. You do not owe anybody to be in a toxic setup. You do not owe anybody that. No employee, no family member, or nothing. You do not owe anybody to be in a toxic space. No. There's no such thing. And especially if you tried a million angles, a million ways, and it's still toxic, you got the right, it's actually a responsibility to stop feeding that. You do not owe anybody to be the proverbial punching bag for their inability, unwillingness, or whatever it might be, to not change, which is their prerogative. It's not about who's wrong or right. They have the right to be who they are and live their lessons how they choose to. But you do not owe that anybody. You can't be love and feed toxic because there is some guilt trips or whatever. And this is very often a bigger thing. It's not just something you can walk out in one day. But we do not owe anybody that, no matter what the circumstances. So this is about self-love. I want you to get up in the morning, look in the mirror and say, hello, gorgeous beast. What are you doing? How are we going to praise the world today? Because that's what it is. I want you, when this inner voice comes up and go like to this, to that, I would say like too loud, motivate, because I'm going to have another show going on. We need to pay attention. Because we run those inner talks without even being aware of it. Yet the moment somebody else, like a family member, a child, whatever, would say like, I'm just so good at this, I'm no good at anything, I'm ugly, I'm this, we instantly jump in, no you're not. But we're cruel to ourselves. Let's bring it home. Not because it's Valentine's Day, because there is only two. There is love and there is fear. There's a million ways that there is love. There's a million ways there can be fear. But those are the two base energies we are actually working and living from. This is how it determines how we experience life. That is the only difference. And yes, it is like we will slip back into it. That's fine, we're humans. That's fine, recognize it, get back on. That's all it is. We've got to stop beating ourselves up over being human. Give yourself permission to be human. Give yourself permission to screw it up. That's what we're here for. We're here to learn. How are we going to learn if we never screw it up? So we know we're here to screw up, but when we screw up, we're beating ourselves up anyway, just in case. Why? Makes no sense. Acknowledge, readjust, off you go. Be nice to yourself. And when this inner voice comes, I always say it helps a lot. It's like, give this inner voice a name. Because it takes away the judgment. So let's say that inner voice is Bob. So when Bob comes, like, Heike, you this, Heike, you that, Heike, you that, you kind of say, Bob, we need to have a meeting, sit down. Because firstly, it's like it takes away instantly this whole judgment kind of thing. So I want to hear what you're saying. And then I want to actually determine if it's factual or not. Because some things might be something I need to work on, but I want to consciously hear it. That takes away from, like, when you put and Bob is a 5-year-old, right? So you put him down, you don't start yelling, and he's like, okay, tell me, what is the problem? What do you find so difficult? You listen, and then you have this little meeting, and you say, like, this is this, and this is that, no thanks, whatever. And then off you go. So it is an integral part. It's your inner child. And it's scared, it's fear. That's what it is doing. And it's not in a good place. So give it a name. So when you get into this place or anxious or whatever, this is this inner child doing backflips like a squirrel in traffic because it hasn't been heard. So where's it supposed to go? Give it a name, sit it down, have a meeting. And listen, what is fact and what is fiction? And react to what's fact without judgment. Thanks for making me aware of it, we can work with that. But you know what, regarding that, we actually really just got the wrong end of the information, we're good. It really helps. The judgment is where we get stuck at. Love yourself through it, like you would love a 5-year-old through it. This year is your year, and every year after that. So please tell all your Valentines to just go to upgrade to number 2, because the biggest gift they get this year is that you become number 1. Because this is what it is. It's a year of first. It's a year of conscious choice. And I would love to choose you, for this life, and any other one to come after that. It's the only way we can change it. And you so deserve it, and you can create that. So let's have love to all of you, and just own it and rock it. Thanks.